Hi there, you're watching Nightline and I'm Nadia Azmi. Here are the top stories. Op Global, at least 13 children believed to have been sodomized. And MACC arrests dozens of officers in airport smuggling. Good morning. 13 children at shelter homes that were raided by the police in an operation codenamed Op Global recently are suspected to have been sodomized. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussein said this was based on the medical screening carried out on the 13 victims who were from shelter homes in Selangor and Negeri Sembilan.
Daripada awalnya, daripada 2 hari bulan daripada report di Negeri Sembilan dan Selangor, kita telah dapati bahawa terdapat 4 mangsa yang mana kita dekat diliwat, kita pun klasifikasikan kes itu di bawah Seksyen 14 Akta Kesalahan Seksual Kanak-kanak 2007. Daripada situ pula apabila kita membuat temu bual dan kita dapati ada 9 lagi. Jadi semuanya ada 13.
He said the police had opened 4 investigation papers against 4 men for an offence under Section 14 of the Sexual Offences Against Children Act. Regarding the 402 occupants of the shelter homes who were rescued during Op Global last Wednesday, Razaruddin said health screening had been conducted on 392 of them, comprising 202 men and 190 women. He said the remaining 10 victims are persons with disabilities and autistic who are below the age of 18. The 10 victims, together with 49 children below the age of 5 years, have been handed over to the Social Welfare Department to be temporarily housed at its shelter homes in Bukit Beruntung, Cheras and Seremban. Meanwhile, Razaruddin said based on police interviews with the victims, it was also found that they had been separated from their parents since they were 2 years old. Some of them had not seen their parents in years as the parents were living abroad.
Apa yang risikan yang kita dapat apabila mereka ini berumur 2 tahun saja, anak ini akan diasingkan daripada keluarga dan diletakkan di taman di rumah apa tu kita panggil rumah amal ini. So terdapat juga maklumat-maklumat yang kita ada. Ibu bapa ada di Arab Saudi selama 6 tahun, anak ada di sini. Ibu bapa ada di Turki tetapi anak ada di sini.
Razaruddin said police were investigating further to determine whether the children were separated from their parents voluntarily or had been forced by the company. He said it was also found that the children at the shelter homes were the 3rd and 4th generation who did not attend formal schooling and were only homeschooled, which is an offence. Razaruddin added that the health screening done on the children found that 172 of them had long-term physical and emotional injuries. Regarding the 171 individuals arrested in the operation, the top cop said they comprise the caretakers and managers of the shelter homes, with 159 of them on remand for between 4 and 7 days. He said those aged between 18 and 51 were detained in lockups in Selangor and Negeri Sembilan, while a 39-year-old man was arrested in Putrajaya on Thursday for allegedly threatening a woman who had made a police report against the company. He also advised former members and those who have been victimized by the company to come forward to assist the police in the investigation. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister wants the investigation into welfare homes allegedly linked to Global Equine Services and Business Holdings GISBH to be expedited. Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has instructed that the relevant authorities, including Islamic religious departments and councils, to immediately investigate and take appropriate action relating to the alleged misconduct. Speaking to the media after performing Friday prayers at Masjid Al-Iman in Kadang, Selangor, Anwar said the investigation and action are important and cannot be delayed as the issue involves abuse of power, religion and child exploitation.
Biar ada saluran dan jangan lengahkan. Kalau benar, ya, kaji sebenar soal akidah umat, ini penting, perkara besar. Soal penyalahgunaan kuasa, penyalahgunaan nama agama, atau penderaan kepada anak-anak, itu semua soal serius bagi umat dan ramai yang tanya mengapa kelewatan atau kelengahan dalam ambil tindakan. Jadi saya telah bawa pada badan ini supaya ambil tindakan segera, siasatan dan laporan.
In the meantime, the Legal Aid Department has been instructed to assist the hundreds of children who were rescued from welfare homes in Selangor and Negeri Sembilan. According to Law and Institutional Reform Minister Datuk Seri Azalina Othman Said, the government would never compromise on matters related to child abuse, oppression and exploitation, and that children's well-being was a shared responsibility. In a statement on Facebook, Azalina said she has been in contact with the director of the Legal Aid Department and instructed them to assist the children and their families by offering legal companion service. She added that the government's commitment to protecting children's well-being and safety included amending the law on evidence of child witness, which was approved at the last Parliament session. The amendment is appropriate and timely as it provides for the competence of child witnesses to testify in any proceeding and eliminates the requirement of mandatory supporting evidence. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC has arrested 37 enforcement officers for allegedly conspiring with a syndicate to smuggle foreign nationals through airports. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki said the suspects were arrested during an operation conducted in Kuala Lumpur, Kelantan, Selangor, Negeri Sembilan, Pahang and Johor on Thursday. Following the operation, dubbed Op Pump 2.0, 27 men and 10 women aged 20 to 40 are being investigated under the MACC Act. The MACC also seized over 1 million ringgit in cash, believed to be bribes from the smuggling syndicate at Kuala Lumpur International Airport Terminal 1 and 2. During the raids, officers were also able to confiscate jewellery, including gold bars, dinar coins, branded watches, cars, motorcycles and mobile phones. In Putrajaya, Magistrate Irza Zulaika Rohanuddin granted the MACC's 5-day remand order application for 9 enforcement officers, which included 5 men and 4 women, until September 17th. In Kuala Lumpur, 3 male enforcement officers were given a 6-day remand order until September 18th by Magistrate Hanifa Arifin. At the Shah Alam Magistrates Court, Magistrate Noor Shohada Abdullah allowed 8 male and 3 female officers to be remanded for 5 days until Tuesday. Meanwhile, in Malacca, 3 males and 1 female officer were also remanded for 5 days after the remand application was granted by Magistrate Nabila Nizam at the Ayakroh Magistrates Court. Finally, in Negeri Sembilan, 7 male officers were handed a 7-day remand order until September 19th after the application was made before Magistrate Said Farid Said Ali at the Seremban Magistrates Court. 3 other enforcement officers were released on MACC bail after their statements were recorded. The Election Commission EC is actively making final preparations for the Mahkota State by-election nomination day on Saturday. The by-election is set to commence with the nomination process at Dewan Tunku Ibrahim Ismail at 9 a.m. Prospective candidates will have until 10 a.m. to submit their forms before Returning Officer Azurawati Wahid announces the names of contesting candidates. Numerous notices have been placed around the hall for public reference, including for political party supporters expected to attend in support of their candidates. A simulation was also conducted on Friday to ensure the smooth running of the nomination process. The simulation covered the arrangements of those allowed into the hall, such as prospective candidates, proposers and officials, along with the verification process for nomination forms and related documents. The EC has set September 24th for early voting and September 28th for polling. The Mahkota by-election was called following the death of its assemblyman, Datuk Sharifah Azizah Said Zain, on August 2nd. In the Johor state election in March 2022, Sharifah Azizah, who was representing Barisan Nasional, won the seat with a majority of 5,166 votes. Civil servants will have an option period of 40 days from October 21st to November 30th to sign up for the new Public Service Remuneration System SSPA or remain under the Malaysian Remuneration System SSM before it takes effect on December 1st. Public Service Department Director General Datuk Seri Wan Ahmad Dahlan Abdul Aziz said the implementation of the SSPA will not affect the pensions of existing permanent civil servants. In a statement, he also said that the new salary adjustments will only be applied to those who opt for it. The Public Service Department will hold engagement sessions at all ministries and departments to ensure the human resources managers receive the necessary clarification regarding the SSPA. He added that the government hopes to further empower public service reform through its implementation. Philippines' self-proclaimed son of God pleads not guilty. This and more from the foreign front when Nightline returns.
Esok saya bawa balik kerja, bawa pergi hospital. Dia cakap kena operasi kepala. Ada dah pendarahan dalam kepala. Lepas operasi saya terus tak nampak. Dulu masa sihat, saya nampak lagi, saya selalu tengok TikTok tugas sana. Saya teringin sangat nak jumpa tugas sana.
Akulah menyambut warisan.
Falsafah penjajah seluruh dunia. Di mana bumi dijajah, di situ bumi merdeka. Jadi di situlah lawangan pertama merdeka dan menaikkan bendera Malaysia buat pertama kalinya secara rasmi di dataran Bandar Hilir.
Melalui sambutan ini, kami berhasrat untuk menonjolkan Melaka sebagai destinasi pelancongan yang kaya dengan warisan budaya dan sejarah.
Merdeka! Merdeka! Merdeka!
Learn strategies for staying ahead in the financial battlefield. Your key insights into finance, money matters every Saturday 5 p.m. only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Welcome back. Philippine celebrity pastor Apollo Quiboloy pleaded not guilty on Friday to sex trafficking charges during his arraignment in Manila. The self-proclaimed appointed son of God, who is facing multiple allegations, including child abuse and money laundering, both in the Philippines and the US, appeared in court handcuffed and wearing a bulletproof helmet and vest. Quiboloy's lawyer said the pastor pleaded not guilty at the hearing. A pre-trial hearing has now been scheduled for October. On the same day, Quiboloy also pleaded not guilty via video conference on separate child abuse and sex abuse charges in a separate court. Meanwhile, a U.S. grand jury has separately indicted Quiboloy for conspiracy to engage in sex trafficking by force, fraud and coercion, sex trafficking of children, and bulk cash smuggling. India's highest court on Friday has granted bail to opposition leader and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal in a corruption case, paving the way for his release almost 6 months after he was arrested. In the ruling, a two-judge bench of the Supreme Court said that while Kejriwal's arrest was lawful, he should be released from custody while contesting the charges against him. The bench, however, was split on Kejriwal's appeal challenging his arrest, with one judge holding it lawful, while the other said the timing raised serious questions. Outside the Supreme Court, opposition party members and allies of Kejriwal were seen celebrating as they welcomed the court's decision. A key leader in an alliance against Prime Minister Narendra Modi in elections this year, Kejriwal was first detained in March over a long-running corruption probe, which his colleagues described as a political conspiracy orchestrated by the governing Bharatiya Janata Party. China's top legislative body on Friday has approved a proposal to raise the country's retirement age, accelerating an overhaul of decades-old laws to tackle the economic pressure of a shrinking workforce. According to Beijing officials, the statutory retirement age for male workers will be gradually extended from the original 60 years to 63 years, while for women workers, the retirement age will be extended from the original 50 or 55 years to 55 and 58 years, respectively. The changes are set to come into force on January 1st, 2025 and be implemented over a 15-year period. Having people work for longer would ease pressure on pension budgets, with many Chinese provinces already reeling from large deficits. Myanmar authorities on Friday said at least 19 people were killed after heavy rains triggered floods in the country's capital. According to satellite imagery analysis, about 162 square kilometers of area around Naypyidaw was flooded on Thursday. Another 366 square kilometers around Myanmar's second largest city, Mandalay, also appeared to be underwater. Authorities said in total, 3,602 flood-affected people from 30 locations were rescued and moved. Some buildings were swamped by floodwaters, and residents, including women and children, were stranded on rooftops before they were brought down into boats by rescue workers. In the meantime, heavy rains in Bangladesh triggered landslides, killing at least 6 people and injuring several others. According to authorities, the landslides on Thursday took place in 2 separate places in the border district of Cox's Bazar after 3 days of intense late monsoon rains. Reports said that the wife and the 2 daughters of a local resident were killed. However, residents managed to pull out the husband alive and recovered the bodies shortly after. Elsewhere, 3 houses were damaged, alongside the 3 deaths in a landslide in a Rohingya camp, where local volunteers are now carrying the rescue operations. Local meteorologists said the Cox's Bazar Weather Office recorded 378 millimeters of rainfall from 6 a.m. Thursday to 6 a.m. Friday local time, marking the highest rainfall of the monsoon season so far. As the world continues to be battered by heavy rains, the nations of Central Europe were bracing on Friday for severe flooding forecasts to hit the Czech Republic, Poland, Austria, Germany, Slovakia and Hungary over the weekend. Meteorologists say a low-pressure system travelling from northern Italy was predicted to dump high levels of rainfalls in most parts of the Czech Republic and other regions. Czech authorities were erecting metal barriers or protective walls from sandbags, while water was released from dams to make space in reservoirs. In Poland, authorities appealed to residents to stock up on food and to prepare for power outages, while the German Weather Service issued warnings of heavy precipitation across swaths of the country, including the Alps, where heavy snowfall and strong winds are expected at higher altitudes.
Дипломатов, которым Россия указала на уличенный в шпионаже. Агента гражданское содействие. С 7 по 9 год. Даже наблюдать за ним забавно.
Perli Tina and Tang Ji Wei storm into last 4 sports after this breather.
Hari itu 100 kilogram. Ini ada 2. Pontianak 200 kilogram.
Kemboja datang ni nak tolong abang perangkap Pontianak.
So sweet.
Korang tak nak lari ke?
Kau dah fikir habis-habisan ke? Ini tengkuk aku ke tengkuk kau
Nak rasa lakonan yang betul-betul kick? Bab menjiwai watak, Syafiq Kal tak pernah main-main. Faizal Hussein mana boleh kalah?
Kau nak lari mana?
Ha? Astaghfirullahalazim. Mak.
Yang paling win, tangisan Wan Maimunah. Confirm Lele.
Kau bacalah doa pendek tu. InsyaAllah.
Nat Zainal pun all out juga. Jangan cakap slot Syarika Rama tak payung. Setiap Sabtu di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Falsafah penjajah seluruh dunia. Di mana bumi dijajah, di situ bumi merdeka. Jadi di situlah lawangan pertama merdeka dan menaikkan bendera Malaysia buat pertama kalinya secara rasmi di dataran Bandar Hilir.
Melalui sambutan ini, kami berhasrat untuk menonjolkan Melaka sebagai destinasi pelancongan yang kaya dengan warisan budaya dan sejarah.
Merdeka! Merdeka! Merdeka!
We're back with sports badminton, the 2024 Hong Kong Open. National doubles pairs Perli Tina and Chen Tang-ji To Yi-wei were the only representatives to reach the semi-finals on Friday. World number 8, Perli Tina were on song as they needed only 31 minutes to dispose of Indonesians Fabriana Dwi Puji Kusuma, Amalia Cahaya Pratiwi 21-14, 21-13 in their quarter-final clash. Perlitina will play South Korea's world number 2, Baek Hana, Lee So-hee in the last 4 on Saturday. Also through to the semi-finals were mixed doubles pair Chen Tangji, To Iwei. The world number 9 pair came back from a set down to claim a 21-13, 17-21, 21-10 victory over China's Guo Xinhua, Chen Fanghui in the quarter-final match. Tangji Iwei will next face another Chinese pair, Fang Yanzhe, Huang Dongbing. Meanwhile, it was the end of the road for another mixed doubles pair, Goh Sun Huat, Siobhan Jimmy Lai, who battled homesters Tan Chun Mai, Sir Ying Sweat valiantly before going down 18-21, 17-21 in the quarterfinal. Earlier national men's doubles pair, Man Wei Chong, Ti Kai Woon, who also shown the exit by Sabar Karyaman Butama, Muhammad Reza Palevi, Isfahani of Indonesia. The world number 17 duo went down to the Indonesians in straight sets, 18-21, 15-21, after 35 minutes on court in the quarterfinals. Now on to football, the Super League. Only one match took place on Friday night. Selangor FC showcased a stellar performance as they claimed a 4-0 victory against Kuching City FC. At the MBPJ Stadium, the home side opened the scoring 11 minutes into the game through Ronnie Fernandez before Ali Alwan extended the lead 7 minutes after the hour mark. Umar Esh Muradov made it a 3-0 7 minutes later before Alvin Fortes struck the winner for the Red Giants in the 80th minute. With the win, Nizam Jamil's side remained second place in the standings, 3 points behind leaders Johor Darul Takzim FC. Moving on to tennis, the 2024 Guadalajara Open. Caroline Garcia got past Japan's Ina Shibahara in straight sets to advance to the quarterfinals on Thursday. The French woman was forced to work hard before securing a 7-6, 7-6 victory over the world number 18 Japanese. The number 4 seed will next play Czech Republic's Marie Buskova, who handled Italy's Lucrezia Stefanini 6-2, 6-1. Joining her was Marina Stakusic. The 19-year-old Canadian showcased her resilience and talent by overcoming top-seeded Helena Ostapenko in the round of 16. Stakusic's excellent performance saw her fight back from a love 4 deficit in the third set and save 4 match points to secure a 6-3, 5-7, 7-6 victory. She will now face Poland's Magdalena Frech in the quarterfinals. Babysitter charged with murder. The details when we come back.
Gua nasi lemak. Budak-budak panggil gua Cik Mak. Dah ready semua? Mula! Tapi perlu ke sampai gaduh macam ni? Jangan banyak cakap.
Gadget punca anak mudah mengamuk.
Bila anak menangis, kita bagi dia gadget, dia berhenti menangislah. Tapi besok-besok tu, dia menangis sebab dia nak gadget. Bukan sebab dia lapar, bukan sebab dia sakit tau.
Pada zaman ini, mampukah anak dibesarkan tanpa gadget?
Kalau kita tengah main gadget, takkan kita kata anak tak boleh main gadget.
Saya yang akan kontrol, kebetulan ada kartun yang tu saja.
Anak tanpa gadget, nantikan perbincangannya dalam Hello Doktor, Ahad 5.30 petang di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Falsafah penjajah seluruh dunia. Di mana bumi dijajah, di situ bumi merdeka. Jadi di situlah lawangan pertama merdeka dan menaikkan bendera Malaysia buat pertama kalinya secara rasmi di dataran Bandar Hilir.
Melalui sambutan ini, kami berhasrat untuk menonjolkan Melaka sebagai destinasi pelancongan yang kaya dengan warisan budaya dan sejarah.
Merdeka! Merdeka! Merdeka!
Welcome back. In Melaka, a 34-year-old babysitter has been charged at the Alor Gajah Magistrates Court with the murder of an 8-month-old infant at a daycare centre earlier this month. The accused, Nur Afifah Abdullah Suhaimi, nodded in understanding when the charges were read before Magistrate Teo Shu Yi. No plea was recorded from the accused as the case falls under the High Court's jurisdiction. Nur Afifah is accused of murdering Muhammad Al-Fateh Amri Muhammad Fikri Amri at a daycare centre in Taman Kelma Utama on September 6 between 7:30 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. The mother of three is charged under the Penal Code, which provides for the death penalty or imprisonment up to 40 years with mandatory whipping of not less than 12 strokes. The court set November 13th for case mention. According to reports, the victim was found unconscious at the daycare centre on September 6 before being pronounced dead at the Alor Gajah Hospital. Following this, the accused was placed under a 7-day remand order on September 7th. Police has seized 5.88 million ringgit worth of drugs following raids on two separate locations in Kuala Lumpur. 3 men aged between 30 to 33 years old were also arrested in the operation, which was conducted at about 4:50 p.m. on Wednesday. Bukit Aman Narcotics Crime Investigation Department NCID Director Commissioner Datuk Seri Kor Kok Chin said that a 30-year-old man was arrested at a parking lot of an apartment in Cheras. Police discovered 182.9 grams of methamphetamine on the suspect, who is believed to be the storekeeper for the drugs. The first arrest led to the apprehension of the second suspect, acting as a syndicate's runner at a condominium unit.
Runner yang di dalam rumah tersebut pemeriksaan telah dibuat telah menjumpai pelbagai jenis ganja iaitu methamphetamine anggaran berat 111.23 kg dan cannabis anggaran berat 29.06 kg, pil ekstasi anggaran berat 7.51 kg dan kristal MDMA anggaran berat 6.07 kg.
According to Kaur, police investigations revealed that the condominium unit was used by the syndicate to store the drugs before distributing it in the Klang Valley. Another raid was carried out on the same day at a restaurant in Taman Mutiara, which resulted in the arrest of a third suspect, suspected to be a member of the syndicate. He added that checks revealed that the trio had prior records relating to drugs and criminal offences. All three suspects have been remanded for 7 days starting Thursday to facilitate investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. In Perak, a restaurant supervisor was fined 40,000 ringgit in the Ipoh Sessions Court for trying to bribe an immigration department officer. The penalty was handed to 33-year-old Heng Xiao Wei after she pleaded guilty before Judge Ainul Shahrin Muhammad on Friday. Heng was charged with offering 15,000 ringgit to a senior immigration officer as a bribe to avoid taking action against 10 foreign workers at her restaurant who did not have valid travel documents. The offence was carried out at the state's Immigration Department office at 3 a.m. on Thursday. The charge was framed under the Penal Code, which provides a maximum 10 years imprisonment or fine or both upon conviction. According to the facts of the case, Heng pleaded for her employees to be freed after 10 of her workers were detained in a raid on a restaurant in Teluk Intan on Wednesday. She was arrested after she offered an inducement to the officer, and the cash was confiscated, which the court ordered to be forfeited to the government. In another case, 3 officers from the Perak Immigration Department and a foreign worker agent are on remand for 2 days to facilitate an investigation by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) over alleged bribery involving the Migrant Repatriation Program (PRM). The 4 suspects, consisting of a woman and 3 men aged between 30 to 50, were arrested at the Perak MACC office between 1:15 p.m. and 7:15 p.m. on Thursday. The remand order was issued by Magistrate Siti Nora Sharif. According to the MACC, all the suspects are believed to be involved in soliciting and accepting bribes ranging from 50 ringgit to 300 ringgit from each foreign worker seeking to return to their country of origin voluntarily through the PRM program. The bribes were allegedly solicited to speed up approval for the program, with activity detected between March and September this year. Meanwhile, Perak MACC Director Dato' Ahmad Sabri Muhammad confirmed the arrest and said the case was investigated under Section 17, Subsection A of the MACC Act. As Nightline draws to a close this time around, let's take a look as Georgian daredevil biker rides 33 kilometers on open water in the Black Sea. With that, I'm Nadia Azmi. Thank you for tuning in and stay safe.